It's daybreak on the Savannah River. Our captain brought our ship into dock while it was still dark. These are the scenes I'm seeing this morning right out of my little cabin door. Look at this big container ship coming in. Wow. If that ship that had hit the Baltimore Bridge about a year ago had had a couple tugs assisting, that accident probably would never have happened. Look at all the containers. Today we're going to go on a tour. We're not going on the regular buses, but these are local buses with local guides. We spent about an hour and a half going in from the city, checking all the beautiful parks and all the classic houses. This is really a nice tour. Look at the fern and look at the blooms on the trees. It was absolutely like God's garden. Really, really very pretty. We saw lots of houses. That's the house there of the Midnight in the Garden book. Lots of old brick houses, lots of houses, he said, were probably 200 years old. One thing I learned about taking videos from a open air bus, don't do it, because like the lady in front of me, every time I went to take a little video, she'd be taking a video and I'd get a picture of her taking a video. We spent about 2 hours going around downtown Savannah, and then the bus driver took us back to the waterfront. Marty and I decided to go ashore by ourselves. I talked to that lady. I found out she's from Azusa, California. We're down on the waterfront, walking around. We've got, we were told that there's possible bad weather up to the north of us, and that we're going to cut this Savannah by about a day short. And we're going to be leaving in the early afternoon. So Marty and I have got about 2 hours to wander around town, taking more pictures. This place is just beautiful. It's like one big, beautiful garden. Look at their statues everywhere. There's brass plaques that kind of tell you what the statues are for. There's little horses and buggies. This lady is knitting, and she's also babysitting over there in front of that fountain. Here's one of the little carriages going around. There's also little tour buses. And here's Marty. She found a tree with lots of blooms on it. She was sort of hoping, we're probably about 2 weeks early for really the big bloom. We finally located a place called I think it's the Marketplace. This is where a lot of tourists go. There's dozens of restaurants there. There's museums, there's candy stores, there's bakeries. There's something for everybody, all kinds of little tourist shops. You can also book a ride on the horse and buggy. We found a great little restaurant and had a wonderful lunch. Marty even had a cerveza while she was there. This is the pedal pub. You get on there and it's got like bicycle pedals. You pedal and can drink a beer at the same time. There's some beautiful statues, all bronze, in this pretty park. I think that was dedicated to the driving the British out of what later was America. We're back down on the waterfront. There's our ship. One thing about American cruise lines, they try to dock their ships in places that give the public, give us, the passengers, a good access to the places that they want to see. This is really old down there. Those buildings are probably over 200 years old. You got to be careful when you walk because there's lots of cobblestones, there's railroad tracks, there's things that could trip you up. We've got probably an hour before we sail, so we're just walking the waterfront one last time. One thing we found out that Savannah is probably the number 1 or 2 shipping port on the eastern United States. They bring in tons and tons of cargo. You can see the crew, they're shortening the lines up, they're getting ready to sail. We're still down on the waterfront. We love these big riverboats. This is like right out of Mark Twain's days, really. That's kind of the kind of boats that they used to have. Now here's a big, what they call a bulk carrier. This is probably about an 800-foot ship full of, probably it's full of oil going somewhere. It's a little bit rusty. It looks like they've come in from a long voyage. Okay, so we're taking in our lines. You can see that crew members got a safety helmet on. He's got a life jacket on. You can see they run this boat by the book. They're very, very safety conscious. Okay, we got the thruster going. Look we're slowly moving out. Those thrusters just kind of work like miracles, really. In the old days, you had to use spring lines and twin screws and back and fill and to get out of a kind of like a parallel park like that. Here's one of our passengers. He's up checking the views out. Here's our last view of that beautiful bridge. We're going to be heading north now. You can see the sky is clouding up. This is the last look at the Savannah waterfront. There are a lot of old buildings. We get to go by one last river boat. We're getting down out of the city now, maybe a couple miles. This is the, it looks like gravel that they're loading on ships there. Probably taking it somewhere for big concrete work. Okay, it's nighttime now. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. I heard some noise up and the thrusters were going, and we're going under a drawbridge. I grabbed my camera and jumped out on my little patio, and these are the videos I got going through. Look at that big hunk of iron just hanging out there, ready to scrape the side of some guy's gorgeous yacht. Look at that thing just sticking out there. You think they'd bend it back in. But anyway, this is that wood is there to keep tugs and barges off touching the bridge. Look at that. There's hundreds of tons of steel in there. That's half the road up in the sky. Look at those big pieces of iron. They're ready to do damage. Okay, we got out from under the bridge. There's a little current. We're still going real slow. Luckily, the skipper's using those big spotlights. That's how I'm able to get these pictures. Okay, we're out from under the bridge. There's one house. I'm going back to bed. Marty says, close that door. It's getting cold in here. It's daybreak in Charleston, South Carolina. It blew all night. That little boat lost its jib. That's going to cost them about $1,500. You can see all the waves are kind of breaking on the docks. It's blowing about 20 knots. Hopefully this is just a little storm front that will be going over, and maybe the sun will come out in a little while. The sun did come out. Look at the day is getting nicer. The wind has dropped off. That's one of our crew members cleaning the boat. This is a beautiful 50-foot sailboat. Belonged to a husband and wife. They're taking shelter here. We're walking the docks, Marty and I. That's the Charleston Yacht Club. We went over and talked to them. They gave us a little guest card for privileges because we belong to a club back in California. This is a beautiful race boat, probably about 60 feet. Here's very, very nice. There's another one right behind it, a white one. That one's got a carbon fiber mast, which is totally high tech. There's the bridge. Okay, we're back to the ship. Today's the day the captain's invited everybody to come into the pilot house. So Marty and I got up there, and we got 2 good chairs, and we studied some of the controls for the ship. Everything's brand new up there. Marty's in a good spot. And here's our captain. The captain was in no hurry. He answered all our questions. He showed us his chart plotters, his fathometers, his radio direction. Well, they don't use radio direction finders anymore. His radars. He gave us a real good tour.
Speaker as well as our
cruise director and our entertainer.
Hello, my name is Robert. I will be your historian and naturalist during the day for the next 2 weeks. My first presentation will be...
We had a beautiful time, and if it rains, who cares, man? It is lovely. This ship is just about the nicest ship I've ever been aboard. It's really, really nice. We had a great, great time. If I dropped a crumb on the carpet, I've got right down and picked it up. Anyway, Marty and I hope you enjoyed this little video. We're going to do a couple more. Have a great day.